Well, another day on the Wallace farm. We dropped another tree. So the kids want to go log chucking again. So we only got 3 logs right now. So we're going to chuck 3 logs first, and then, whenever we get some more, we'll take some more video of them throwing some more. Okay, wait. Faith, back up.
Let's see who goes farther.
Faith. All right, Elena, go ahead.
Oh, nice.
All right, come on, Alan.
Try and throw it by the handle. Never mind. Little people problems.
Clark. That's my grandson, Clark. What are you doing? You trying to help Uncle Alan log chuck?
Good enough.
Clark said good job.
Help me up. Hey,
Come on, Faith.
All right, Faith, come on. Show him some girl power. Oh, good job. Awesome. We decided we wanted to sit down and talk about some of the YouTube videos that really inspired us and gave us ideas to want to do this. And the other day we were in the middle of talking and walking around and stuff like that, and we missed some people that are really inspirational, and we didn't want
to leave any of y'all out.
Right. So this is not in any particular order, so don't think the first person we say is our favorite. You guys are all our favorites.
Well, no, I kind of got a favorite. But...
No, he's got a favorite, but I can't pick, to be honest. I watch a lot of people, and I can't pick who my favorite is. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is Slightly Rednecked Chris. We want to thank you for allowing us to post on your channel during your live stream, to talk about our group. And Chris actually helped me talk William into getting quails. And I wanted quails. He did. That was a video that we watched.
This is news to me, y'all.
The video that we watched, he had I think it was a 3-layer cage in his garage, and William's like, "Oh, that doesn't look too hard." I'm like, "Right." Next thing you know, we got quails in the house in a Critter Nation cage, and it was awesome at first, and then we had to put them outside.
As you guys probably know, if you've watched from almost the beginning, or if you went back through our channel, we had to get rid of all our animals thanks to the lovely city. They wouldn't allow us to have our quails, they wouldn't allow us to have our rabbits, and also, as I said, if you go further back to the actual beginning of our channel that we started, we did have chickens, ducks, we had pig, so we had a pretty good sizable amount of critters,
different farm animals.
Yeah, raising them for their meat and eggs,
pets.
We did have some that were our babies that were pets. They were not allowed to become our food.
We do know that some of you name all your animals, regardless if they're going to be food or if they're going to stay on your homestead, farm, property for long periods of time. That's not something we feel that we should do. That's just our opinion. We're not saying that you're wrong for doing that.
I feel like if you name something that you're gonna make it your food, to me, I become attached. If I give it a name, it becomes a pet and more or less like one of my children. So it's to name it and then to eat it, it's just off to me. I prefer that. If you're gonna name them, and it's gonna be food, I think you should do like Al does from Lumnah Acres. Is he actually picks out food names, so that it's more or less kind of keeps you from getting attached to it, because when you hear the name, you think food. You don't think pets or one of your children.
Bacon, chops.
So,
I can't remember what else you named them.
I definitely agree with you on that, Al, about picking out food names. I think that's a good idea.
I still don't want to.
But I still, as she was probably going to say, I still think we shouldn't name them at all. Me personally, they're just quails or rabbits or whatever they are. We just call them that.
Plus, we feel this helps the kids see the difference, because they're like, "Oh, that one's cute," and I'm like, "Well, does it have a name?" They're like, "Yes." I'm like, "Well, then we don't name our food." So that just helps the kids adjust easier to it. And I mean, you know, we got a lot of them. So also, Chris with the rabbits, he's answered a lot of my questions. You ever need anything having to do with quails and rabbits, any information, he has a ton of information. And during the live stream the other day, he said he talks a lot. Yeah, he does, but here's the thing. He's actually giving you very good information, and he's very thorough, so that way you will understand it. So he has to talk a lot for you to be able to understand something.
And as she said, I agree too. He's thorough. I actually like him too. You know, listening to him talk, you feel confident that you can be like, you know, you got a go-to, I guess for lack of better words, go-to guide. If that doesn't sound wrong, I hope it don't sound bad, but that's the only way I can think to describe it. He's like, you know, your best guide to how to, you know, on how to things, you know, about
for quails
the
and
different
rabbits.
for the rabbits and quails. So, you know, I thank you too, Chris. Thanks again. And as she said, we really appreciate you allowing us to share our channel and kind of open up our door a little bit to hopefully get some more people to view us as well, because we really enjoy being a part of the homesteader community, especially now that we finally got our dream going for us and we got property. And, you know, just being able to share that information back and forth is awesome. So thanks again, Chris.
The next channel we want to talk about is Weed 'em and Reap, Danelle and Kevin and their 2 kids. And one of the main reasons why I like them is they have an acre of property in the middle of, I believe it's Phoenix, Arizona. And I know it's somewhere in Arizona. And it's like city. And they have all these goats. And they just got cooney pigs. And they have like chickens and Kiwi the turkey. And I mean, it's just like...
And for 1 acre, you know, for 1 acre, an acre is a good size lot. But to fit what they fit in there, and it looks so nice. Like, you look at their yard, and it's like, it makes you want to be there to see the animals and everything. Because their yard, they've done so well with their yard. You know, and then just like they've got their water feature in there, and they've put their fish in there. I mean, I love watching.
Pond, yeah.
I love watching you guys on that, Read 'em and Weep. You guys are awesome for what you fit in there and what you raise on just that 1 little acre, you know, being in the city like you are. So definitely give you a shout out there.
You wanted to talk about the irrigation?
I also did want to mention the irrigation. I find that interesting because I'm a native to Ohio. I've grown up in Ohio my whole life. So, you know, as you probably know, we don't have anything like that here. Obviously, because we have more of a plentiful source of water due to like Lake Erie and, you know, all the lakes and ponds.
More here.
You know, plus we're not in a hot climate, and with you guys being in Arizona, I know that's more kind of like the desert. It gets real hot, I do know that much. So, you know, with the different climate, of course, you have different ways of irrigating your yard and getting water and all that stuff. So that, to me, is very interesting. I like when you guys open up the valve, and I actually like watching it flood. I know that sounds funny, but I find it interesting. I think it's pretty cool how that works out. But yeah.
I mean, I don't know. How can you not like their channel? I actually bought one of their shirts right before they rehomed Mabel, because I was afraid that that shirt was no longer going to be available anymore. So I hurried up and snatched one up, and yeah, I really like my Weed 'em and Reap shirt. So this is the log that Joseph picked. It's a little big for him, but you know. Alright, Joseph, let's see you throw it. There you go. Whoop, whoop. Clark's got a log truck too. Woo-hoo! Awesome! Okay, Clark, come back here. Alright, Emily, come on. Alright, the goal is to get it over there in the wet spot, people. Come on.
Yeah, the one in the wet spot stays rolled there.
Okay, hey, whatever works. Alright, Danielle. Now, if she does terrible, we gotta give her props. She doesn't feel very good. So. Woo! Awesome! The YouTuber that I want to talk about next, William really doesn't know too much about her. It's Sandi Brock, I believe, from Sheepishly Me. And the main reason why I want to talk about her right now is because we were just talking about Arizona and their hot climate. And Sandi is in Canada. And it, like, I think near Ontario, I'm not 100% sure. And it snows a lot there. And, you know, she's like the main person I go to for sheep videos. Sheep is something I really am interested in. William, not so much, you know, and I'm hoping, you know, to start getting him to watch her videos so that way he can see, you know, she has all these sheep and she's like, she is on it. She is really good at that too. So it's just like, wow. I don't even know what else to say because I don't even know how many sheep she has. But lambing, oh, it's just, I can watch them videos all day because baby sheep are just so cute. So. Okay, the next YouTube channel we want to talk to you guys about is Better Together Life, Bo and Kelly. Now, one of the main reasons why we like them is they were basically in the same situation we are, except their city didn't make a big deal about their animals. They were living in suburbia or whatever you want to call it, and you know they had their rabbits and, you know, like a small garden in the backyard. And they sold their house to move on 7 acres of property in Texas. And that is just, you know,
That would be cool.
what?
That would be cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely another shout out to you guys, Bo and Kelly. I was really excited when she first introduced me to y'all's channel. I was excited about you guys moving onto your property. I really was happy for you. And watching in the house, I don't want to sound rude or mean or anything, but it got to a point where right before you guys moved and started doing videos on your property, I didn't really want to watch at the house. I'm like, I just want to like snap my fingers for them and plop them on the property because I was really excited for it, you know. And I was really looking forward to the first videos coming out of you guys on the property and setting it up. So, because like she said, you know, we're kind of in the same boat, so that's why you guys are another inspiration, because it just shows that if you put your mind to something, whether you have a lot of money, a little money, medium amount of money, well, no matter what you have, if you put your mind to it, you work hard enough, you can get where you want to be. So, big shout out to you guys for that.
And he's another one that Bo is very thorough on his videos. Like he just did an entire video on how to take stuff from your fire and mix it with rabbit poop and make beautiful compost for your garden. That you could just put it right on your garden, because there's hot compost and cold compost, or I can't remember exactly what it's called. But if I can find the video I'm talking about, I'll link it below. I'm actually going to link everybody's channel below that really have inspired us. But yeah, Bo, he is very thorough on.
Okay, the next one that I want to give a shout out, I haven't been really watching the videos much because there's a lot of channels we watch, as you all know. But I do want to give a shout out to Pure Living, which is Alyssa and Jesse. They are the homesteaders that, again, they're ones that basically started from the ground up. Like, they started with raw land, like we have nothing on it that I know of. And they stayed in a trailer on it for, I believe it was 3 years before they were actually able to start staying in their house. And watching them do the house build and, you know, putting in there, they got like this little hot tub that they did, and you know, just watching them put all this stuff in, you know, starting from scratch was pretty pretty amazing. You know, staying in a trailer and spending every day, every moment that you can, working on it and building it and making it what they want, and then watching them through their channel and watching the house develop to the point it is now, I find really inspiring as well. Jesse and Alyssa, you guys are pretty good at that. You're awesome. You know, considering, like I said, you started with nothing and just took it to where it's at. So that's pretty awesome.
So I decided to look around this tree right here, and I'm thinking we're going to start throwing them right here, because right here is the goal where I want them. So Elena's down there right now. She's going to start moving them because they're getting, you know, piled up right there, and the rest of them are getting stuck. So she's going to go throw them in there. So this way they are where I want them to be. So, because I mean, like we said, pigs like mud and water and stuff like that. But we just think it's a bit much. So, okay, the next channel I want to give a shout out to is the Hollars, Ben and Megan. They had a house in California. They sold their house and traveled the country for, I think, about a year to find their dream property in, it's one of the Carolinas. I'm sorry, I watch them a lot. You would think I would know. I think it's North Carolina, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know. I think it's South Carolina for some reason.
That's why I said one of the Carolinas.
I'm a little behind on their videos. You know, there's a lot of channels that we watch, and you know, as I've said in previous videos, I do work a lot when we get busy, and then there's times when I'm out for up to a month at a time, if not longer, on the road. So I lose a little bit of track on some of the channels, but you know, we both know we know they're somewhere in one of the Carolinas. I'm thinking South Carolina, she's thinking North Carolina, and when I'm thinking about it, I kind of think she's right, but anywho, it's one of the Carolinas. But they are definitely a huge inspiration as well, for both of us.
They're one of the main ones that taught me to never give up the dream, because they just kept going until they found the perfect place, you know. And they have a large family. They have 4 boys right now. They're expecting in August, and if you see this, congratulations. She's hoping for a boy, he's hoping for a girl, so I just hope the baby's happy and healthy, and I know it will be. So, but the large family, like any homesteader that has a large family is, you know, something that is, you know, close to my heart, because, you know, we have a large family. I mean, we can't stress that enough. Where I think that will probably be one of the reasons why some YouTubers watch us, because it's going to be interesting, you know, because of how big of a family we are. How are we going to do this with as big as a family as we have? So,
and you know, and I want to cut in for a minute, because I want to just say that, you know, another thing for both of us, and I know I could speak on both of mine and her behalf, because it kind of goes with the fact she mentioned that they have a large family like us. They sold their house and then traveled cross country and just made one big road trip, which I thought was awesome. I actually enjoyed seeing the different sites and, you know, seeing where they would go next. I enjoyed that. And the idea that they did all this while homeschooling the kids and still maintaining, you know, a life, you know, in the sense of the kids were still getting an education. About the interruption, as we said, we have a large family, so we had the little ones cut in for a minute. They needed something, so. But as I was saying, you know, with them homeschooling the kids and maintaining, you know, the education level there, and still sightseeing and traveling the country and having fun with it, and, you know, also doing that while
I don't think them kids are going to need another history lesson for
mean,
the rest of their life. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, going, and then on top of that, you know, another thing that I found was just awesome is they're doing all that, and they're still going to other homesteaders, meeting other homesteaders and helping them and doing things, and, you know, so that was pretty awesome to watch, to know that they were able to do that too, you know. So you know, definitely a shout out there. You know, I give major props to them for keeping that up, you know, and not just being like, you know, I hate to say this, but there are some parents out in the world that are, it's cold to say, but they'll just be like, oh, we're not going to worry about schooling the kids. We're just going to take this big trip and, you know, it'll be okay. So I definitely give them a huge shout out for that, because I know I wouldn't be willing to do it. I don't want to sound like a bad dad or anything, but I would not be willing to travel for a year with our bunch of munchkins and trying to homeschool them. It would just be, to me, I don't think it would work out that good. It wouldn't. You know, our little ones are a little bit more on the wild side. I guess you could say they're a lot more curious. They like to get into stuff, and you know, you know, if you take them sightseeing, they like to run off. They will run off.
Right.
So, yeah. So, I definitely give you guys a shout out there, because I don't think we would be able to do that.
I actually got one of their shirts too. It says, "I'm stupid excited to be here." So I had to get one of those shirts. I actually think theirs was the very first shirt from any of the YouTubers that we watched that I have purchased. So, yeah. Okay, so the next one we want to talk about is DIYfferent. Okay, now they've also been out in the country, and I think before that they were called mini steading. So we started watching them when they were in Indiana, I believe. And the first video I watched of theirs, they were building this outdoor cat house. It's okay, just put it back on. Is it still recording?
Yes.
Okay, I'll cut that part out. I'll let somebody drop the phone. Okay, they were building this outdoor cat house. And I might even leave it in there, it's a blooper. So, and for the feral cats, it wasn't even their cats that they were building this house for. You know, it was just feral cats. And they were taking care of the cats. And one thing I had a problem with is when they moved, they got a lot of negativity for leaving the cats there. They were not even their cats to begin with. You know, and they tried to rehome the ones they could, you know, try to have, you know, for them to have a better life. And
I agree with her. I think it's just the idea that they were kind enough, you know, to take these cats in basically and feed them while they were there, you know, and take care of them, make sure they were taken care of. That's awesome right in itself, you know. I don't see why it was so bad to leave them. If they were feral cats, they were wild cats, I would have probably done the same thing, you know. I mean, they weren't yours to begin with. Just because you feed the cat, you know, or you take care of them, I don't believe, unless you actually claim them, I don't feel like it actually makes them your, I don't want to sound cold, but it don't make them your responsibility. If they're already wild cats, what's it, you know, what's it any different than a bird flies in and you feed the bird? Or you got a squirrel and you throw a piece of food, a squirrel comes up and eats it, you know? And maybe you do that for a couple years. It doesn't make it your squirrel, and, oh, you know, you moved, you should take it with you. So, all I'm going to say is, you know, we don't want to be negative on our channel, but I will say, you know, there's always going to be them haters. You're always going to have people that's going to be negative, you know, and sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad thing. And, you know, all I'm going to say is, you know, as one of the other YouTube channels says that I watch, which is, he's also on Facebook a lot, he is not a homesteader, but Adam Calhoun, I watch a lot of his videos, and as he would say, you know, the haters are going to be the haters, you know, and that's putting it nicely. He would use some other choice words we're not going to use on our channel. We are going to keep it kid friendly.
yeah, we're trying to keep the
you know,
swear words on videos.
I do agree with him that if the haters want to hate, they could just turn the channel off. You know, they don't have to watch it. Nobody's making them watch it. And as far as the whole cat thing goes, you know, I give a huge shout out to them for being kind and taking care of the animals, because we're animal lovers as well.
That. I mean, that just shows the type of person they are. They, you know, took time out of their day, you know, the kindness of their heart to feed these animals.
And I'm sure maybe, you know, maybe not a lot, but I'm sure it took a little bit of their money too to feed them animals, you know, to take care of them. So, huge shout out to you guys for doing that, because as I said, we are big animal lovers too. And if I see some cats come up, now, with me, if I see them come on the property, I probably will claim them. But, you know, you know, I just think that that's awesome. We're animal lovers, and if you see animals come up, you know, where's it any different than if there's a kid in need? You would help the kid in need, at least I would hope. So, once again, huge shout out.
It doesn't make it your responsibility once you help that person.
Exactly. Yeah. Huge shout out to them for that.
So then, after they moved from their place in Indiana, I can't remember where they moved to next, but they turned their channel name to Out in the Country, and they redid a mobile home, did a beautiful job on that mobile home. Beautiful. If I'd have had the money, I would want to buy it.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to say that I was kind of disappointed when they got rid of the property. I mean, you know, they did what they had to do, and I'm not going to be negative. As I said, I'm not one
like
of
I
those
said,
haters.
it was beautiful. They did a beautiful job.
But I definitely love their channel too. The only reason why I say that is because you know, I really thought their schoolhouse, that old building they had on it, I thought that was fascinating. You know, I just seen so many different things that could have been done with that. But I also love what they're doing with the what is it, a mobile home I believe they got now.
Yeah, in Michigan. They moved to Michigan.
And they've been doing a lot of work. They've been doing drywall.
Beautiful job, beautiful job.
It is gorgeous, you know.
And then they changed their name again when they moved to Michigan to DIYfferent. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. They're in the middle of a kitchen renovation right now, and they've had so many issues with these kitchen cabinets, and they're troopers. They're not very negative about nothing, and they are just pushing forward with it. And I mean, that's just like,
and as I said earlier for one of the other shout outs, that also, you know, is just awesome that they're another couple that shows that if you put your mind to it and you work hard, you're going to get where you want to be. You're going to get done what you want to get done. And at the end of the day, you could sit back and you could just be like, wow, you know, I built this. We put this together, you know. It wasn't something that was just like, oh, you know, it was just given to us. No, this is something we put our blood and our sweat and our time and energy and, you know, money even, you know, and we've worked hard at this to get where we want to be. So huge shout out to you guys for that.
so we decided on this side of the driveway instead of the other side that we're going to put the sheds over here instead. And we're going to stack them back to back. So we dropped the one tree, and if I had been recording, y'all would have laughed because it fell and hit our car. Yeah, car's okay. You know, got a little scratch. That's about it right here. I don't even know if you can see it. Not really. Okay. Anyway, so we cleared this out over here. Like I said, we're gonna put the sheds over here, and we're gonna go back to back. So I'm gonna put one shed up here. And then the next shed, we'll flip it around. The door will be that way and that way. So this way they'll be back to back. We have to put supports in the middle. And this way we can just keep going for however big we need. Also, while we were raking it out over here, we're not done, but this dirt looks really good. So I'm thinking I could put a small garden over here next to the sheds. So like use the one side of the shed as protection from like animals and stuff like that, and then put a fence around the rest of it, or you know, just like fish netting, something, you know. So, but yeah, I think this is gonna work out pretty good over here. We do have to drop some more trees like that one and that one for when we go back farther. So I don't know, I'm thinking we're probably gonna end up back by that tree right there. So we're probably gonna have to drop that one too. So that's where we're at right now. The next one I want to talk about is Blue Cactus Dairy Goats. Crystal and her family, I think she has 4 children, and the goats she has, they're just beautiful. Now she had sent one of her bucklings to Weed 'em and Reap, and they named him Zorro. Beautiful buck, beautiful. That's something that I would really be interested in later on down the line, is possibly getting a buck off of her. And Weed 'em and Reap sent her 2 of their Cooney pigs, Teddy and Dobby, I believe, are the 2 that they sent her. And William was saying a little bit ago, I'll let him say it. He's trying to get the fire going. If we have a composting pile, we could throw that banana peel in there, but we don't have one yet, so.
And Okay. I just wanted to touch base, as I was saying a little bit ago. You know, she had mentioned about homesteaders trading animals and stuff. I thought it was really awesome when, you know, Reedham and Weep had sent a goat to Al on Lumnah Acres, you know, and it's nice to know that they trade animals, you know, and they'll trade information and help each other out. And I'm hoping that sometime in the future when we get our animals, you know, maybe we could jump in on the whole family thing, and maybe we could, you know, trade with one of the homesteaders. You know, maybe we have something that they want, or you know, maybe we have extra and then we trade them or whatever, you know. It's just nice to know that there's other people out there that care about what we care about, and that we can always turn to. It's like kind of like an extended family, you know, for help and for inspiration, you know. And if we're stuck on something, we can ask, hey, you know, well, how do you think I should do this? You know, someone who's been doing it for a long time, you know. It's just nice to have that input, and it's nice to have, I guess you could say, like I said, an extended family. It's nice to know that there's people that's interested in what we're interested in, and there's people that we can turn to help, and they're not gonna, you know, they're not gonna say, oh, you're doing this wrong, or oh, you know, that's not right.
The homesteading community is very.
Yeah.
They're.
I just think the homesteading community is awesome. It's just like I said.
When you ask a question, you're answered with respect, and you know, if you don't understand something, they'll explain it to you better. And it's just like, you know, I don't want to sound mean, but you know, like people that aren't in the homesteading community don't understand what you're asking and don't get it.
You know, and that's not a stab at anybody.
No,
you know,
it's not.
If you're not a part of the homesteaders, you know, the homesteading community, of course you're not going to totally understand, you know, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If homesteading's not your thing, you know, by all means, you know, that is up to you. But I just, you know, as I was saying, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but just having the homesteading community come together and knowing that we have people that we can turn to when we are stuck or we need help or we need inspiration, it's just awesome, you know. And like I said before, probably many times, I'm hoping that now that we have our property, we can really jump into the family, you know, in any way that we can, you know, to help. Maybe to turn to, like I said, for advice, you know, maybe, as I said in the one video, you know, if we're doing something wrong, just to be able to have somebody say, hey, I think you should do it that way, you know, and maybe another person could say, hey, you know, you should do it that way, and then we could kind of weigh what we think.
Constructive criticism is very welcome.
You know, it is very welcome, as long as it's, you know, constructive and not destructive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we are all for, you know, positive criticism, you know. And we thank anybody who has been an inspiration or in the future will be inspiration, or who gives us those comments and says, hey, this is how you should do this. I think you should do it that way. You know, we're definitely open to that, because we definitely don't know everything. And
we are not professionals.
We are not professionals by any means, and we are brand new to the homesteading. You know, as you guys know, we just acquired our property, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So we're just kind of diving off the wild side, diving in head first, and, you know, going with all the inspiration we've gotten and doing what we've wanted to do for years, even before the inspiration. You know, as I said in one of the first videos the other day, it's something that I've wanted since I was a little kid. So, you know, now knowing that the homesteading community is out there and there is people that we can turn to, I'm definitely excited and looking forward to jumping in on the bandwagon here with the whole community of homesteaders.
Okay, so the next person I want to talk about is Justin Rhodes. And I'm sure a lot of you are subscribed to him and watched him. And what I just thought was amazing is that he had this homestead, you know, farm, and he took a bus and he made a home for his family and traveled the country to different homesteaders. He actually went to Al's Lumnah Acres place, and that's how I found out about Justin Rhodes, when he showed up at Al's. So, and I mean, you know, the Hollars, Ben and Megan, they actually live real close to Justin Rhodes and his family. and they go there and they help each other out, and he is just like full of information. And I mean, I don't know what else to say about him, but I mean, it's just like,
Well, I will
there's
say
a
this.
lot of things.
I will say this. You know, him converting that bus. That's another one that just fascinated me. Because you know, I am a full-blooded car guy. You know, I'm a guy, so you know most guys like cars. You know, and I like doing things like that myself, converting things from one thing and making it something new or updated, or you know, modifying it, just making it something unique. It's just fascinates me to the moon and back. Like, it just fascinates me. You know, one of the shows that I used to watch growing up was called Monster Garage. I don't know how many of you guys know about that, but with Jesse James, that was one of my favorite shows because I like the idea of taking something that is meant to be one way and just going off the deep end and just making it something totally amazing, you know, something that no one ever would have thought it could be, you know.
Like this land,
and,
I'm sure
you know,
when we're done, people are going to be like, wow, we never thought it could be that.
And we are hopeful of that, you know. We're definitely positive and looking forward to doing that, you know. You know, that's just like with our little pop-up that we have now. It's, you know, we only paid like $300 for it. You know, it's
one of them we got for free. I don't know if it was that one or not.
No, that's the one I paid $300 for. And I'll have my photographer let me borrow you guys for a minute. And then that is the camera. Now I don't camper, correction. Sorry, I apologize. Can't talk today. That is the camper that we paid $300 for. Now I know it don't look like much because we kind of just jury rigged it together right now. That canvas does come out, and that right there will go up and it'll fold out. But as you guys probably know from a previous video, we did get a porta potty, and we decided to kind of use that as our bathroom for the time being. So, you know, we paid, like I said, $300. So the idea of converting that into what we're going to call the House of Paul's, when we're done using it for a portable porta potty, we're going to convert it for our cats, and it's going to be a big cat house. And what we're going to do is, you know, take the top off, take these rails out, and we're going to put a frame in a wooden box and everything on there, and you know, the slides will be off. We may leave the front slide and just kind of build that up with wood, but the top and all that will be gone. So, you know, as far as, you know, Justin Rhodes giving us that inspiration, you know, to that, you know, doing that as well, converting stuff over, that's something I really enjoy doing. So, I'll turn you guys back around here. Now you can see my handsome face. I wish. But, you know, for him to give us that inspiration in that aspect is just awesome, too, because I love watching stuff like that. I love the idea of taking, like I said, and converting something to something else. So, thank you for that little treat, Justin.
I like watching him because he's got it all. He's got chickens, ducks. Well, I don't think he has ducks. He's got the pigs. He just got sheep. And I don't know why he calls the boys the luchadors, but that's what he calls them. He's like, I gotta go take care of the luchadors. I just think that's funny. I really like his personality and his presentation of videos. And I mean, everybody's presentation of videos, you know, that's like, you know, goals for us, you know.
Yeah, and like she said, you know, everybody's presentations, we've mentioned to this point in our video.
We got two more.
You know, and the two more as well. They all have good presentations. So that's not picking on anybody, but you know, some people, it's kind of like, I guess you could say actresses and actresses. You know, you have some actors that that have a presence for the camera, and they're just natural at it, and there's somebody that when you watch, you want to watch more of them because they just have that presence. You know, they have that. I don't know what the word is. Presence is the only thing I could come up with, but you know, they're just natural at being behind the camera and taking videos, and you know, it's like watching your favorite actor. You just want it. You're like, yeah, I can't wait to watch this next episode. You know, but you know, I mean, that's just my opinion. So yeah.
So the next one we want to talk about is Al from Lumnah Acres. Now, we've been watching him for, I think, about 4 years now. And, it's just, he had just chickens and ducks when we started watching him. And I think he had, the occasional pigs. And now he's got 7 does and 3 bucks. Well, 2 bucks and a wether. So, and it's just like, wow. He's come a long way. And, he's got turkeys now, too.
And and as she said, he's been, he's. I don't want to sound mean by any means, because as we said earlier, all of you guys out there, we love your channels. You're awesome. But I have to say, if we had to pick a favorite, it would
If he
probably.
had to pick a favorite.
If I had to pick a top favorite for me, the one I watch the most is Al, because just like Alyssa and Jesse, he basically started from nothing. When they got that, there wasn't really nothing on their property.
The house that they were living in was burnt up, and they had to tear it down and build it new. Now, he didn't post
and then
videos of him doing that. Like, I think his very first video is he was doing something to a car.
yeah.
So it's like...
I don't know that one because she's been watching just a little bit longer than me, but
Now, I wasn't watching him since day one, but like I said, we started watching him about 4 years ago.
We just know a little bit about the background because he did explain it and talk about it in past videos, which is how we know him. And that's a huge inspiration too, because he went from just having so many acres and having the so many animals and starting from basically scratch into what he's got now. And for me, the part of the whole Lumnah Acres, with Al is, he is a huge inspiration to me because he built most of that stuff, majority by himself. He did
a post and beam barn and an outdoor kitchen. I think the outdoor kitchen he had more help on, but the post and beam barn, he did a lot by himself. And his wife Gina, he's over there. He keeps saying, "Don't tell her I did this," because clearly she's afraid of heights. And I'm with you there. I feel your pain there. I couldn't watch that stuff either. I'm like, oh my God, Al's up on a roof again. So.
And he's a huge inspiration in that sense, him and, of course his wife Gina has been there, I think a big support for him, but just watching him, the majority of the stuff that he's done all by himself with no help, it's just amazing to me, to know that one man is, as I was saying, little ones interrupted again, sorry, with back to Al, with him doing majority of that stuff by himself, and the initiative and the drive that he has is, for me, has been a huge inspiration. And as I said the other day, I thank him for that. He's awesome. Just knowing that somebody, like I said earlier, when you want something and you put your mind to it and you work hard, and I know I've said this a couple times, I'm gonna say it again because Al is a big example of this. When you work hard and you put your mind to it, you can do whatever you want. And we hope that someday in the future that our channel will become, maybe not as big as Al's, because he's awesome, but hopefully close to it.
Channel goals.
Yeah, that is definitely our channel goal, is to become that big, and just to know that, we could hopefully inspire somebody younger than us that's just starting out on property to do the things that we do and do the things that Al and Gina does. And and the whole idea of being able to retire fairly young and quit working, to go full-time on the homestead, of course with the support and help of YouTube and y'all watching us and giving us the views and the likes, would be amazing. That is definitely a huge goal of mine. I'm not by any means a lazy worker. I love to work. I love supporting my family, but just the idea of being able to do what Al has done, and I want to just enjoy life on the property, and get up and make videos every day, and be able to inspire younger generations of homesteaders someday to realize that the world is bigger than just the walls of the city.
Yes.
And the fences of the gated communities. There's a whole vast world out there, just waiting to be discovered, and I'm sure there's a lot of places that people haven't discovered. So, we're hoping that we can be the inspiration that Al has been to us, me especially, and to the younger generation, and show them that you got to work hard. Just him, the stuff he's building up by himself is just awesome. And the one thing that I'm really enjoying now, watching that he's working on, is that greenhouse. You know, that's something that we've wanted to do ourselves as well. You know, and to see different ways of doing it, you know, and how he's doing it is awesome. And knowing that you can actually get a kit that's designed, you know, for the weather and the elements, and that's basically plug and play, basically. You know, you got to do a little bit of tweaking and construction to fit it where you want to fit it, but, you know, mostly plug and play. You just bolt it together like a big puzzle. That's awesome, you know, and to be able to grow our own food all year round, even when it's bitter cold, and we know it gets bitter cold by you, Al, because we've been watching you long enough, and I've traveled for work up to Seabrook up there for the power plant that's up there to do some work, and I know it gets cold up there. So, you know, the idea of being able to grow our vegetables and our fruits and stuff throughout the year is awesome to us. So seeing him do that is just, that's another huge inspiration that shows us, you know, there's ways of doing it. It can be done, and if you put your mind to it, you can do it. You know, and we're looking forward. That's something else that we're looking forward to doing on our property, is getting a greenhouse, because of the fact that we do get a lot of cold. Probably not quite as bad as up in New Hampshire, but we do get pretty cold, you know, here in Ohio. That's definitely one that I'm interested in doing, is the greenhouse.
I think one of the main things, I don't think Al's actually ever said this, but I mean, if you think about it, hard work makes the dream work. I can't remember who said that, but I mean, it makes perfect sense if you think about it. You can't just sit there and be lazy and expect stuff to be done. You have to work hard to get what you want.
And I definitely, myself, I also take pride in the idea of the whole working hard, because, as I said earlier, you know, when you sit back at the end of the day, I think it is very rewarding to sit back, and I'm sure Al feels this way too every time he looks at what he does and what him and his wife accomplishes on their farm. You know, to sit back and to be able to say, you made that what it is just amazing. I think it's a great sense of pride. And, you know, I take a great pride in just knowing that we just got the property and got it to where we're at. You know, and I take pride already in the idea that we're gonna make it, you know, something, you know, big, and you know, and really build it up the way Al has done his. As I said, you know, I take great pride in that.
So I think that's it for now. So we're gonna close, and I don't know, we want to come up with something cutesy, like, you know, how Al does, saying good morning modern steaders at the beginning of our videos, or how, you know, Ben and Megan say good morning beautiful people. And I'm sure eventually we will come up with that, but for now we're just we'll come
up with a little slogan eventually.
Yeah. Eventually we're just gonna say goodbye for now from the Wallace Farm.
We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.